to the max, getting faded till I'm gone, dude. I do what I want, couldn't stop me if you wanted to. I just work hard, yeah, harder than the rest. Some people say I'm lucky, others saying that I'm blessed. But I keep my head down, cause I crave progress. You ain't never gonna stop me, cause it's my conquest. And I'm never gonna rest, yeah. And y'all don't know that I'm a soldier. I always felt like I'm alone, yeah. When everybody thinks they know, yeah. And y'all don't even know I own, yeah. And now I'm ready taking over, cause every day I'm getting closer. Just look at everything I'll show ya. And now I'm ready, I'ma blow up. Yeah. I throw up, and if you cross me, it was good to know ya. I'm impatient, I don't ever slow up. I stay young, no, I never grow up. I keep working to the point I throw up, and if you cross me, it was good to know ya. Yeah.
We are live. Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome back to another Tuesday episode of Tackle Talk. It's your boy Beards. Yak that one all up. It's been a while since I've been playing with these buttons here, so this whole thing's getting a little crazy. A blue fire is a hot fire, says John. Hey guys, we have got an absolute gas riot for you guys this evening. For those of you guys who were hanging out this week, oh man, this whole weekend, did a 2.5 hour live stream, just playing with parts. I thought I had the lav mic on. That turned into a total nightmare. And then I did the update and showed you her spitting. And then we went out and did some cruising around. She kept spitting. Temperature never got even close to hot. Let's give a shout out to the chat tonight. SWC in the house. We got Wolf, Robert, Sharp. I'm sure there's a bunch of y'all in here. You just ain't saying nothing, but that's cool. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out, man. It has been, let me tell you something, guys. It has been an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Okay, so let's get right into the story. We're going to do the story first, and then we're going to talk about the real serious stuff that I've had to learn about over the last week, okay? So, here we go, guys. There I was, right? I'm sure you guys saw this. I know some of you guys saw this. We're gonna pull it up. Hold on one second. We're gonna pull it up in the background here. Let me show you guys what I'm doing here. Hold on. All right, we're going over here. All right, let's get this down. Let's do this. All right. And here we go, boys and girls. Go here. Some of you guys saw this. Some of you guys might not have seen this, but it was just absolute chaos. So you guys saw there was changing the water pump, if you guys were in there. And then there was water pump continued, which was the test, right? Big thumbs up on the test, boys. She worked good. And then we went out on the water. And for those of you guys that saw that, she's planing off now. I found out the fuel filter was just really, really, really clogged. There was a ton of junk and bad gas and nasties in the tank. It was not a good time. It really wasn't a good time, you guys. I can't lie to you and say it was fun, because it wasn't fun. But nonetheless, then we all went fishing. So I figured we could show you guys that. Let's hang out for a second, guys, and let's see how this whole thing played out. I know some of you guys were hanging out. I figured out how to get the lav mic working, so that was really important. Yeah, that's it. Trying to get this mic to stop popping in the cam shot there.
Hey, boys. Can you hear me? That should be working, boys. Pretty.
All right, guys. So here we go. All right, time for the that's it guy. Yeah, right. Okay, so I gotta ask today. Me and Outlaw were talking, and he was like, you got a new boat, you're on your way, you're out fishing. What do? You go right back to the channel. And I was like, man, I did this. So I put the boat in, I went over to a couple of other spots, I checked the phone, right? I've got no signal, guys. I got no signal. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to find somewhere where I can fish that I'll have signal. I can't find anywhere to fish and have signal right now. So I'm driving around. I drive around for about 20, 25 minutes just looking on my phone where I know I can fish and find, and catch fish. And based on the time, like we all saw it. You guys saw I was prefrontal as it gets. I was probably like 2 hours too late to be out there on the big bite. The app showed us that it was creek mouths and aiming towards the deeper water. I went right in on that. So for those of you that didn't catch that, this was that. All right. So here we go. Let's just go ahead and just get right in on the water here and have this moment together, because I think that was a lot of fun. But once I get into the canal, I know I've got signal, so I can go live. I can go live and show you guys, what I'm doing.
And talk to you guys the whole time. I brought the tripod, guys, to set up over here for you guys, and we'll see how that works out, man.
A bunch of people came out and hung out, so that was really kind of cool, man, that a bunch of people came out and watched me fish out there.
All right. I'm thinking about just going all the way up with this. I don't know.
So I'm out there trying to set this tripod up, right? Because I'm thinking the best way to give you guys an angle of fishing, like live fishing with me. Hey, Kristen J, and the live fishing with me, we had it. You know what I mean? We totally had it. I figured it out, but I can only fish the channel. That's the part that sucks, man.
Take you guys off of here. We can do this on first cast, doing it live, right?
All right, here we go, boys.
It's really cool if you come and hang out, especially it'll be really, really cool if I land like a giant.
Yeah, I was going for the giant. I'm not kidding you. I had a feeling.
I got no trolling motor pedal here, so we're letting Jesus take the wheel, boys. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if
you guys heard that, right? No trolling motor. Get ready.
Now, here, what if I put you guys back here? Or is that too weird?
I thought that was a good angle. I mean, I wish I got to figure out how to do a wider style lens, and you guys can hang out and like be in the boat fishing, because I'm thinking about doing this on Tuesday nights.
I'm thinking about going with old Billy Baru, boys. Let's see if we can do this on first cast, doing it live, right?
You guys know me.
Anchor down and let's hang out in this area for a little bit, guys.
That's the old power pole right there, boys.
There we go. There's my lane.
When I'm referring to lanes, boys and girls, I'm talking about, you guys can see it. All right, so there's like, you see that right there? Can you see what happened? That's off the screen, isn't it? Okay, where I'm pointing to, I know you guys can't see the pointer right there. I hope you guys can see it. But right over here, a fish just jumped. I watched it. I'm watching it right now. That's where my eyes are focused.
Now, supposedly the pressure's
hey, Gary.
Up, so they're going to be in deeper channels. I think they're going to be set up on the base of some of this Liliums right here. Oh, first cast, boys. She snagged.
That's the pressure.
There it is.
The pressure's getting to me.
Yeah, reality style fishing, guys. Reality style fishing. Not like, oh, look at me, I got one on air cast. No, this is what it looks like in between all them casts. You know what I mean? All right, let's see if I can land this. All right, that'll fish.
That'll fish.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. This could be kind of cool. I'm a little nervous with that tripod back there with all my stuff on it, though. I might have to start like finding a way to weight that thing down. There it is, boys. Got it. Second cast, boys. Woohoo! Nothing like live fishing, huh? It's a dink, but I don't care. I don't even care nothing about that, boys. Huh? Ain't nothing like second cast live fishing, boys. Nice. All right, relax.
Nonetheless, guys, talk about getting lucky. You know what I'm saying? Talking about getting really lucky. I ended up snagging on second cast. Now, if I was smart, I would have continued in this direction. Here, I would have continued traveling in this direction towards the mouth and the opening down there, because that's this direction. Sorry. Towards the mouth and the opening where we knew there was fish, but instead I traveled back into the channel. So that was my fault, you guys. I really wasn't paying attention to that, and I should have really been paying attention to that. But without fail, boys and girls, let's do this. Let's get some music going. Let's do story time. I just thought that was a lot of fun. I wanted to show you guys that. I thought that was kind of cool. But now, Robert Sharp, what's up, bud? Now, you guys, let's get into what happened. So what had happened was I came back from that big adventure. All right. Jenny Lynn and I went out. We went across the lake. We went to Eustis. We had a good time. We had a nice trip. Boat ran great. Everything was working just fine. It was, you know, I could hear soft music playing in the background, you know, the whole time. That purr of the Mercury 2-stroke. You know the sound, those of you that have ever owned one. John, you know what I'm talking about. What's going on, Greg? There it was, boys and girls. Pull into the house. I get ready to set the chargers on. You know, I got the 3-bank in there, so I'm good to go. I says, you know what I didn't do while we were out today is I didn't check the trolling motor. I never once. Now, you guys know the trolling motor works. For those of you that were out on the maiden voyage with me live, yeah, we know the trolling motor works. All right, it got me across the lake several times. So here we go, boys. I stepped my foot on the switch. I got nothing. I got the trolling motor propped up, you know. I know I could see it spin if she was going to spin. There's nothing restricting it. Suddenly, I hear sizzling. And I look at the head of the trolling motor, and there's smoke coming out. And then I look down at the foot pedal. Boys, there's smoke coming out of there, too. I immediately go to jerk the wire out, right? I got to jerk the wire. I got to jump back. I got to kill everything that's connected at this point. I have no idea what's going on, all right? Boys, let me show you what I pulled out of there. You ready for this? Yeah, that's not some kind of new age plastic. That's straight fire burnt wire. Fire burnt wire, boys. All right. I look in the plug. There's like plastic that's ionized. I've got wire that's soldered together. You understand? Soldered together. Here. There you go. Look at those. Those look good. And I'm thinking, you know, that can't be that bad, right? This is no way. Oh, it continues. I cut the top of the trolling motor open. Mind you, it just worked. It just worked. Okay, I put the new guide thing on it. Checked her again. She works. She's roaming free. I got no issues. Boys, they welded themselves together. That's welded. They're welded. All the copper heated to the point where, yeah, she's cooked. She's cooked together, boys. At the copper. What's going on, Jeff? Jeff, listen to this one. So, yeah. Boys, we got a fire. You understand? Like, there's not just a little bit of smoke. There's like a lot of smoke bellowing out at this point. It's electrical. Now, I've managed to get to the back and hit the old disconnect on everything, all right? Because there's still some cool stuff on this boat. This guy took care of this boat. Whatever this occurred, I had to find. Arson Investigator J. You understand what I'm saying? I've now located the source of the problem as far as the inside the head of the trolling motor. So I go down to the second thing that I smelled on fire, which was the foot. Yeah, boys, you see that? Let's get a pointer. Let's get a pointer for you guys. All right, you see that right there? Can anybody see that? Let me try to get this thing just right. Oh yeah, there. That's it. Yeah, see that red wire right there, John? Yeah, so that wire disconnected from the bottom of the switch and ground itself out on the speed controller module and immediately threw fire throughout the entire system. It burned every switch in here right up, boys. Burned them up. Nothing works. Puff the Magic Dragon special smoke. You guys know the special smoke was coming out of every one of these things. They're done. Everything. It's cooked. All right. That's not all. So I started thinking to myself, well, I'll tell you what. You know, if it's not one thing, it's another. But I was at home. I had access to several fire extinguishers, and nobody died, right? That's all you can do. As long as nobody dies, everything is great. So, guys, without further ado, I'm going to take a 2-second pause and prepare for tonight's real purpose in this episode. Slightly charred, Jeff. Kenny says for sale, slightly charred. Yeah, Kenny. No, listen, I checked. Listen, okay. I checked all the wiring. I got 12 volts coming through. I'm good, 13.46, all right? But I'm good coming through because I don't have a 24-volt trolling motor. I have a 12-volt that's piggybacked. 2 12s. It's not a big deal. I think the issue came down to the dude rammed too big a wire to this trolling motor, and it cooked it. It cooked it. I think it was just a matter of time before it heated her up enough to burn her up. Because I did all the resistance checks and everything like that, and all my other wires are good. I did not find a circuit breaker, so that's going in there. There's a lot. What's up, Scott? There's a lot of stuff that's getting ready to go into this boat. Okay, I got to make some changes, boys. But hold on. Let's take a second. All right, guys, I figured I'd have this conversation with you guys. Oh, look at that, Faye. Hey, how you doing, Faye? Kristen J's in here. Faye's in here. All right, ladies, this episode is for you because the first thing when we start talking about trolling motors that we need to discuss, boys and girls, is shaft size. So, shaft size, boys and girls. That's what we need to talk about. So, ladies, this is going to get real interesting. Now, as you can see, I took the time to draw an exact replica of the Blue Pearl. I even drew a little trolling motor over here with water coming off of it, and the old Merc 150. Look at that. That's if that's not a spitting image of the Merc 150, I don't know what is. Okay, I don't know what is. But the most important thing tonight, boys and girls, shaft size. Shaft size. So here we go. Let's talk about this. All right, as I just saw on the diagram that I so perfectly illustrated, I mean, that was some... Boy, let me just tell you guys, if you got a chance to see that kind of stuff on a regular, you got to see what I can do with a Post-it. I leave some of the most fantastic Post-it pictures. My son's really good at it too. We're Post-it picture people. It's interesting, I know, but it works. It's kind of neat. It's a neat way to talk. Just leave each other pictures, post-it pictures. But yeah, guys, so we're talking shaft size. I know we got a couple of fishermen, maybe 3, maybe 4 if John's still in here. Jeff fishes. I don't know how many of y'all are running boats. Kenny just got a new motor, so I'm sure Kenny runs a boat. The thing you need to pay, I'm learning this now. The thing you need to pay the most attention to when you start talking about shaft size, what's going on, Iceman, is not only the keel depth of your boat, but the weight of your boat. Size matters, says Jeff. Yeah, Jeff, especially when you're talking about size on the shaft, all right? And this is what I'm trying to get in with you guys. The one thing you do not want to do, there's like a happy medium. Let's break out the picture. Let's bring out the illustration again, just so we're all clear on this. All right. You want to have the shaft just at an area of the center line, maybe a little bit lower than the keel of the boat. The one thing you don't want to do is get it in a position where it's going to be dragging up. So I measured mine. Mine's 45 inches. That seems to be a pretty average size. That's what they're telling me, just so you guys know. 3-foot draft at 6,000 pounds. There you go. See, Scott knows what's up. Scott knows exactly what's up. So we get back to this, guys, and based on the way my boat sits, 45 inches plenty, but I'm kind of torn right now. And let me explain to you guys what I'm trying to figure out. Now, I've noticed the industry went brushless. I've noticed the prices have went ballistic. I know now that we're building back better, things are definitely costing a few dollars more, and it seems like a full inboard. Yeah? Scott says full inboard. But I'm talking about trolling motor, and Scott, you know, that's the whole thing. I mean, I can go, the market right now seems to be, it's wanting to move towards brushless, which I know is going to make it a lot quieter. It's going to make the maintenance a lot easier, and it's going to be minimalized maintenance, if at all. The brush systems, you guys know those things go. Those things go. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what cooked off the other trolling motor and sent the fire back in it, or if it was just the lines are too big. I really don't know, you know, and that's one of the things that I got to get involved in. But I did all the wire tests. You know, I tested all the wires. Oh, something just fell. Yeah, it's no problem. I tested all the wiring and stuff, and like I said, the only thing that I could think is the wiring was too big and it was supplying too much current, which would definitely trigger it. And without a breaker in there, that amperage probably just jumped in. You know what I mean? Kenny says, don't overthink it. Get as little long for when it gets sportier. What? Don't overthink it. Get it a little long for when it gets sportier. Oh, roger that, Kenny. So that was my next question, Kenny. So 45 and I'm running clean. You're saying a 50-inch, 70-pound, 24-volt wouldn't do me wrong then for my style boat, for sure. I was thinking that exact same thing. Now, I've looked at several different manufacturers at this point, guys, and I've tried to do as much research as I can. But just as quick as you find like one bad review on YouTube, YouTube only suggests other bad reviews. That drives me absolutely mad. You know what I'm saying, guys? Let's do something here real quick. Hold on. Okay. All right, so like I said, this was me out fishing the other day, guys, flying the drone around while I was out there on the Blue Pearl. But I was thinking 50 inches is going to probably be about the best way to go for me. I really was. I'm really leaning towards that being the size, man. I think that's going to be really. I think it's going to make a difference, like you said, Kenny, for if it gets sportier. Minn Kota is the only way to go. You know, Kenny, I'm really thinking that same thing. Your buddy's selling his trolling motor, Jeff? Is it sweet? Because this is where I'm torn, boys. All right. So the possibility of getting me into spot lock system, GPS, and like an iPilot is really good. Because here's where I'm torn. Let's just talk about this for real. So the Blue Pearl's not the forever boat. Let's just be honest. But it is a fantastic boat. And financially, if I can get 3, 4, 5 years out of fishing this boat with no payment, no extra insurance, and she runs and she, you know, I take care of her and keep her up, to invest the amount of money in a real fancy, and I'm talking, you know, 15 to 2,000 is I mean, right there. 15 to 2,000 is a really good spot to be in. I personally think. I mean, I've seen some of these tour models 24, 28, 37. Guys, I'm not loaded. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to have to get a little bit fancier of a depth finder on there. I'm thinking about running the Lowrance TI. I seen that on my buddy's boat the other day, and it was pretty fancy. So if I do end up getting a trolling motor, it's got to have the capability of communicating with that unit. I think that's probably a direction I'm going to go there. Wire gauge is important. Yeah, I'm learning this, Ice. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and for those of you that saw me do the lower end the other day with the help of John over at Small Water Charters, that was a big thank you to John, because that wasn't going to be exciting if I didn't have him. No, I'm just kidding. I was a little nervous, though. I can't lie. Bigger is better and not green inside. Yeah, right? Get an 80-pound Minn Kota, and they are far the best in the grass. Yeah, Kenny, this is what I'm talking about. Because I've looked at... this is a seller's market, bro. I've looked at the Minn Kota 70. I saw the 70-pound 24-volt. I thought that was probably a fantastic setup. It's got really good reviews. But again, I think that's brushed. I don't think that's brushless. And I'm kind of looking for something like, okay, so here's my goal. This is kind of what I want to be able to do. Let's just be honest, boys. I mean, between those of us sitting in here and girls, the Blue Pearl's probably not going to end up being sold. And I just mean that wholeheartedly, because the way I do things, like I had a Taurus, all right? And that Taurus treated me right. For almost 300,000 miles, I didn't have a payment on that car. Good God, I can't tell you how many years I didn't have a payment on that car. And that felt really, really good. Well, since the Taurus went down for the count, because, see, I put them out. All right, I put them out. I will keep it running, limping, running, back to factory. I'll do 100 million things to any type of motor, automobile, whatever I got, right? I take care of my stuff. But... I think the Blue Pearl is probably going to, it'll be there for the next 3 to 5. And that's my goal. I'm going to do some things to her. And she won't be my forever boat, but she, you know, I think it'll make a good project boat. It'll make it a lot of fun going out and doing my little fishing trips. Like I said, I'm thinking about doing Tuesdays, fishing from whatever time I get off till like 4 or maybe 5, and then coming home and then seeing y'all at 7:15. And hopefully, like, we caught a big fish. If anybody wants to come in and hang out, that's awesome. Dead short, Scott says. As in the wiring, Scott? Is that what you were talking about? 4 tracks, 112. Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Now, John runs a pretty big trolling motor too, bud. And my question is, if I go... Do I go foot pedal? Do I go electronics? Am I ready for that transition? It's an old boat. There's going to be issues. She floats. She's got nothing wrong with her. But, I mean, to drop like $1,800 on a trolling motor, and then all of a sudden the old Merc gives up and the boat's sitting for 6 months and the trolling motor's sitting for 6 months, my heart will be devastated. Now, granted, I'll pull that bad boy out on the trolling motor and just leave it down at the dock at the end of the street. You know, and only the trolling motor work, run a power cable over there and call it square. Don't think I won't. Don't think I won't do that, boys, because I will be fishing whenever I get a chance. It's just healthier. I really think it is. But that's where I'm at, man. I don't know what direction I want to go with this whole thing as far as, you know, the type of trolling motor, man. And like I said, my biggest question, and I'm learning this in research. I mean, I don't want to go too big to where it gets up under the keel. I know that for a fact. You know, as far as, you know, if we got pinned on something, I don't want to have that ability. I'd rather just hit on the front and be fine. Foot pedal by a lower grade and save your money for a newer boat. Okay, so I looked at the foot pedal on this trolling motor, Kenny, and it's $259. And I was thinking to myself, boys, so it's looking like it's going to be $470 in parts to redo the boat, the trolling motor. $470. That's a new foot pedal. That includes all the switches, plus the wire, plus the downsizing of the wire, because it's going to have to get downsized to what the manufacturer said it is supposed to have, plus the new inline circuit breaker, plus whatever is wrong with it once I get it hooked back up. See, that's the issue that I'm waiting for next. Now, this trolling motor it's a 40 pound and she's old. And then let me tell you something, 40 pounds of thrust was rough with this big heavy boat trying to get it back there in the wind. Yeah, I'm thinking, like you said, Kenny, go with the 4-tracks Minn Kota. It'll have a foot and be on. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, she might be broke, Jeff. That's what I'm saying. There was a bit of a fire, Jeff. It was pretty intense. Some things got welded together. There was some special smoke that I know is not supposed to come out of electronic devices because I've smelled it a few times in my life, and I'm like, oh, I know what that is for sure. Now I need to hear that. What's that sizzling? Yeah, it's stuff burning up. So that wasn't fun. Luckily, like I said, we were in the driveway. But I don't know, man. I might look into that, Kenny. Take a look at that 4-tracks. See what that looks like. Again, like I said, 80-pound thrust is going to keep me, I think, pretty solid down on the South Florida lakes. You know, I will one day aspire for a Talon. But I don't think there'll be a Talon on this boat. You know, I think the next purchase is probably going to be a Gusto purchase, but it's going to be 5 to 7 years from now for sure. Till I'm really financially invested in a position where I can do that. I think that'll be a good thing. But until then, that was kind of what I was getting at, guys. I needed you guys' input, you know. But wait, there's more, Scott says. I kind of want to get you guys' input. I respect and value a lot of what you guys, you know, talk about because realistically, man, I'm just getting into this. This is my first boat, you know what I mean? And I'm going to treat her right. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to treat her right for sure. It's just what I don't want to end up doing is like kicking myself in the ass because I just spent $250 on a foot pedal, and then because I need the whole assembly. That thing's got fire burns on it. You know, I don't even want to deal with that. I can get the switches for $49, but that's not the issue. The issue is all the wirings burn up. Everything on the bottom of the foot is literally melted, and if it's not melted, it's welded together. It's terrible. So yeah, we got an app update. App update for those of you guys that were interested. That's okay, John. You missed a lot of story, John. You can probably replay it and catch it. But bust out another 1,000. Yeah, Ice, you're not kidding. Like I said, man, I got a choice though. I've been looking at a 70-pound 50-inch, and that's why I was kind of asking. I knew Kenny or John, somebody might have been able to help me out with that. So that was kind of, you know, important for me to speak aloud on that because I really, like I said, I'm new to this, man. I'm new to this. But I did do some dimensions today for the deck, and I did look into it. I vacuumed it. Oh, you guys would have been so proud of me. I vacuumed. I left the cover off the boat, right? Let me tell you guys about this. So I left the cover off the boat, right? And sure enough, when I got home yesterday, I run a 70-24, but our boat isn't as heavy. Yeah, John, see, that's what I'm saying. I know it's going to have to be a 70-24. I know that. And I know your boat's not as heavy, but, stepping into that 80 is probably where I'm going to end up being, the 80-24 volt. That's really not the way I want to go, but it is what it is. And that's Kenny was talking about that one. That's what I needed was input. The 4-tracks Minn Kota. I heard that thing was a little beast, a little power horse. But I'm looking at the initial investment and stuff, and I know I have to replace it regardless. That's but I overkilled it. You should be fine. Now, John, I was just talking to Kenny and everybody about this, man. And 50-inch, that wouldn't be too much for my boat, would it? I got a 45 on her now, and like Kenny said, I would opt to go a bit longer, maybe even a 55 in case it gets sporty. Because I'm out here on the Harris chain. And bud, if I start figuring out these offshore banks and offshore channels and stuff, which I know a lot of them, but the issue is you get some waves out there, bud. There's nothing you can do about it. When it starts to blowing, man, you're off that spot. That's what worries me. And, that you can't power pole there. Some of these things are 28, 30 foot, so I'm not going to be able to I could drop an anchor, but that's not going to do me any good either. We were out on, I went fishing with my buddy Steve the other day on, what was that? Lake Weir. And we did some offshore fishing. What's the angle on your prop? I don't know. Oh, on the boat? I don't know. It's on there. It's etched on there. I don't really remember. Can't be honest with you. I don't remember. But it's the stainless one, so at least it's a little bit sportied up. But yeah, so we had a hard time. Steve and I had a hard time with his aluminum boat, keeping it on the spot for sure. And it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work running the trolling motor, you know, and keeping yourself on spot and fishing and stuff like that. John, that's why I'm like debating, do I want to go electronic? Yeah, power poles fix that for those of us in shallow water, John. See, that's the whole thing. For those of us in shallow water, power poles work. But out here on Harris, I've got some deep waters. I can go fishing in a whole bunch of different environments where there's big fish. Like I said, we were up on Lake Weir the other day, and my buddy fired up his imaging, and it was pretty ridiculous. You know, the water was 26, 28 feet. There was one area it was 36 feet. We could see big masses. There was big fish sitting in the 12 to 20 range, 15 to 10s, and it was there was big fish, man, big fish. But unfortunately, the wind was gusting 15 to 20, and they said 4 mile an hour winds. They were lying. They were lying about every bit of that the other day, and it was terrible. What is that? John said, let them drag in the grass in the deep. They'll slow you down. Yeah. Oh, okay. You're talking about your power poles, John. Yeah. You could do that. You could definitely do that. Like I said, Kenny suggested the 50. That was a 50-inch, wasn't it, Kenny? Oh, was that a 55 that you were suggesting? Oh, 50. You see, that's what I thought. That was my thing too, man. The 50 inch is where I keyed in on. The 70-pound 24 volts where I keyed in on too. That just, like I said, every time I turn around, fixing the head, huh? Oh, and like I said, I had to buy a fuel filter. That fixed the whole not being able. Remember, I couldn't get her on plane, and I was the guy doing this across the lake. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. Now I go whoop, and I'm on my way. There's no real. Hey, what's up, SoFlo? There's no real any other than engine trim. I don't have a jack plate or anything like that. So if she does get to bouncing, boy, we just bouncing for a minute until she, give her a little throttle and figure it out, and then get back on it. But she has been running clean. And I've been real fortunate about that. I was real nervous about that for a minute. But that worked itself out once I replaced the fuel filter. So, the one with the ponytail. But yeah, like I said, the water pump thing, that fix is done. I haven't had a problem spitting any water out. That's been a good thing. So that's saving me money at this point because I did that myself. I'm learning, John. First boat, all right? I'm learning, but she's getting comfortable now. She's getting comfortable now. Like I said, I think I've got a bad switch over here. I don't know. I might have to rerun that to the dash switch because the thumb switch, sometimes when I do it, it won't even operate the back. But I did put fluid in there, so the pumps are filled up now. But when I go to either the back switch or the front switch, they both work just fine. So I don't know. Maybe it's the hand thing, which if that's the case, I'll just transfer it to under the dash. I've got an extra up and down switch over there. Bilge pump and everything's firing up whenever I need it. So I haven't had to need it yet. I play with the trim the whole time, tweet at least. Yeah. Well, yeah. I can, like I said, it was real weird the other day, man. I had a little trouble with it wasn't registering. I was clicking, and sometimes I'd have to go double before it went and moved even the smallest little bit. So I'm thinking that switch. And she's real loosey goosey. She got a lot of play to her. You know what I mean? She's been around a little bit. Quite a few times somebody done fingered her. And I'm talking about the switch there because that thing's been roughed up a little bit. Yeah, Kenny, I looked into that. I saw that, Kenny, the old turn signal style, and I got a hot foot. I found a hot foot for $198. So I'm getting one of those, and it's an original TH Marine hot foot. So that's going to be another day, another adventure. So right now I'm coming into trolling motor, hot foot, and the question mark, boys. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. The question mark. What's next? What is next? I'm a thumb trim, no hot foot guy, huh? Yeah, I think I'm liking it a lot more, John. This boat's not, I'm sure, isn't the safest boat out there. So, and I'm probably not the most safe boater. But I know how to drive a boat, though. You know what I mean? Like, I can get on and off the trailer. I don't have a problem with anything like that. I know how to launch my boat. I'm fast about it. I don't play too many games. That one day I took it out, though, I left the trailer on. You guys remember that? John was sure to point us out and let me know that I left the trailer on that day. Yeah, Kenny, my next boat, I'm telling you right now, I will be doing a jack plate. I'm telling you, I like the versatility of it. I like the whole concept of it. Kenny has I know. Kenny got a fancy boat. And listen, that's cool, man. I'm going to get there, Kenny, in about 5 years. I'm going to have a real cool boat. I'm thinking I might get lucky. Buying used, buying some. I know, Scott. That's what I said. New Merc on the back. That's right. He just paid the big money for that. I know, Scott. That whole last episode, the update about buying the boat was I broke my own rule. And I know you guys remember that one. That was vicious, man. That was vicious. But like I said, we're going to figure this whole thing out. We'll do it together. I'm sure I'll go live and pull wires and stuff, and we'll have a good time, if somebody wants to hang out. You do know every inch of that boat, John. That's what's interesting. I'm going to get with you, John, on the email side, bud. Shoot you my number so we can talk about some ideas that I had. Bob's Machine Shop is the only jack plate to own. Yeah, I've heard that. That's funny that company, Bob's Machine Shop, has a jack plate. Imagine that. But I will, John. I'll get up with you, man, because I got some questions on some ideas, and I know you've fabricated your entire setup over there. But I'm gonna I got to redo some deck here. I got to redo some compartments and figure out how this thing is gonna work out, because there's just not enough deck to stand on. I'm noticing my covers are getting real soft. I want to recess all those. I got some ideas. I've watched some YouTube videos on this, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna steer me in the right direction, boys. I mean, I've never seen a YouTube video steer someone in the wrong direction. Have you guys? We live in Okeechobee. They just jump in the boat. Yeah, I wish fish just jumped in the boat, John. I'll tell you what. If it was that easy, bud, you know what I'm saying? That's where I made the mistake the other day in the live, John. I was telling these guys earlier. I totally knew what to do and where the fish would be. I didn't know how much I was off in timing, but I was like 2 hours off. And then instead of going the direction that I knew the fish were moving, I went the opposite direction and just was out there grinding like I didn't know what to do. And it was horrible, man. I should have keyed on that first fish and realized that, okay, they're already moving out. We had that one episode where we talked about prefrontal and postfrontal, and I told you guys it's prefrontal here. Once it goes into that high pressure or low pressure, whatever the extreme is, those fish are going to push out deep. The lower the pressure, they're going to push in shallow on my lake. I figured that part out. But boy, I'll tell you what, I made the biggest mistake going deeper, shallower in the back of the river or the canal. It was a bad idea. I should have went more towards the mouth and just gave it just everything. Just kept sending it. Something would have come up and bit it, I'm sure. Oh, goodness gracious. SoFlo had 3 jump in the boat when he was gator fishing or gator hunting, whatever you do with gators. Seen it a few times. The day I met Kenny, he watched me pull a 4-pounder, a 6-pounder, an 8-pounder, and 3 casts. Where was that, Donkeyland or Headwaters, John? We've had some jump in the grass. Yeah? Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure you get up in that short grass when they come out of the water all excited when you're pulling up on them. They probably come right out and land in the boat. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Another boat cussed me for cutting him off. What a way to meet somebody. What's up, Rod? Y'all late to the party. That's all right. Donkeyland. Yeah, I used to hear stories about Donkeyland back in the days, bud. I heard that. I heard stories. I was out there a few times. Like I said, it hasn't happened for me at Donkeyland. I know right now is probably about the best time for me to try to get out there, but I gotta put better tires on the trailer. There's no way. Oh, and John, that's another thing I gotta get with you on is leaf springs. find out where you get those and where the hookup is on those things, because I might want to think about investing a little bit of money and putting some different leaf springs on this. Yeah, this cold front. That's why I said, John, I got a couple weeks. When's Outlaw riding out with me, Jeff? I don't know, man. I'm going to ask him. Probably when the boat's right, because I know he don't want to go out there and struggle on my day. And that's just the honest truth, man. He'll meet me wherever with his boat, I'm sure. But if he's going to struggle, he's going to struggle on his own boat. Last thing he's going to want to do is struggle on my boat that's got problems. You know what I mean? Until I get all those bugs worked out, which is, like I said, I'm going to make sure that I got everything right on the boat before I head down to any of the South Lakes, especially one off of that super, super smooth road right before you get out to Donkey Land. They got a road that I swear, it must be done in razors, like they come through with some type of perfect razor blade and make that surface so smooth that sometimes your vehicle just feels like it's floating. Now, John and Kenny can tell you, it just feels like it's floating on a cloud. It's so soft on the way out there. It's almost a shame that you drive on it. Like, that's how smooth that road is, for those of you that know about that place. 11.7 for Kenny. John says I get the truck and trailer on plane and it's not bad. You really, guys, like, seriously, I'm going to record that road one day. Listen to these guys celebrating their double digits. Yeah, we're all going to have to get out and meet up one day and do a fun little video shoot and have a good time. A lot of video on our road in that channel. Oh, I know. What can he say if you gas in his spot on your boat? That's funny, Jeff. That's funny, man. Donkeyland's a 10.6. Like I said, John, I think mine's like a 3 at Donkeyland. I went out there once before. I had like a 5, maybe a 4.5, 5. I think I wouldn't even weigh it. It was raining. It was just a nasty day. That was the first time I ever went there. And then I went there a second time, and it was the Dink Fest Fish Camp Fish, and that was horrible. I always end up right after it sprays. See, that's what I mean. It'll be good to have the ability to really keep track of those lakes down there and fish when I want to. It's still a 3-hour trip for me, so that's going to be rough. 270 bass in the last one. I saw that, John. That was pretty fantastic, man. I got to give you credit on that one. I got to give you credit. You've been out there working. And like I said, I'm trying to do the same thing here at home for a little while. I know I got some tournaments coming up. I know I got a couple of tournaments coming up in the next couple of months. I got to get my registrations together as far as the money, so I can get my boat entered in it and get myself all set up. But again, guys, I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate the input and helping me out with this whole thing. And, I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate you hanging out. So, listen, until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. We'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.